It's January 21st, 2026. My phone buzzes. The notification stops me cold. Ubisoft has officially canceled Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time Remake. I stare at those words, read them again and again, hoping they'll rearrange themselves into something that makes sense. Something that doesn't feel like watching a childhood friend get buried in the sand. The prince is dead. Not with a fight, not with honor, but with a corporate memo about enhanced quality benchmarks and portfolio optimization. After 6 years of development hell, after switching studios, after promising us again and again that it was coming, the dream is over. But before we bury the prince, we need to remember who he was. We need to talk about what made him special, what made us fall in love. And we need to understand exactly how Ubisoft took one of the most elegant, revolutionary franchises in gaming history and slowly, methodically, strangled it to death. I was 14 when I first held the Dagger of Time. It was 2003. My friend brought over the Sands of Time for PlayStation 2. We played it all night. I remember everything about that first playthrough. The warm, golden hues of the palace, the prince's cocky voice narrating his own adventure. The first time I ran along a wall and felt like I was defying gravity itself. No, that's not how it happened, the prince would say when you died, rewinding time itself. The game didn't just let you rewind mistakes, it made failure part of the story. It treated you like an intelligent human being, capable of appreciating elegance over brute force. While every other action game was screaming, "Kill! Destroy! Dominate!" Prince of Persia whispered, "What if we made you feel like poetry in motion?" The parkour was revolutionary. Wall runs, ceiling swings, ledge shimmies that flowed like water. Jordan Mechner and the team at Ubisoft Montreal had created something that transcended video games and became art. The combat was rhythmic, almost musical, blocking at the right moment, vaulting over enemies, using the environment as your weapon. And Farah. God, Farah. The chemistry between the prince and Farah was real. When she died in his arms at the end, and he rewound time one last time, erasing their entire journey so she would never know what they'd been through together, I cried. Actually cried, sitting there at 3 a.m. with my controller in my lap, watching the prince whisper to a sleeping Farah about adventures she'd never remember. That's when I knew. This wasn't just a game, this was magic. Then came 2004. Warrior Within arrived like a punch to the face. The prince was older now, angrier, running from the Dahaka, a time demon hunting him as punishment for messing with the sands. The whimsical Arabian Nights fantasy was gone, replaced with new metal guitars, gothic architecture, and a prince who swore and chopped people in half. The fan base split down the middle. Half of us hated it. How dare they turn our graceful hero into this edgelord? The other half, we were secretly kind of into it. Because here's the thing, Warrior Within was brilliant. The time travel mechanics were insane. The island of time in present and past. The Dahaka chases that made your heart pound. The two endings, one where you kill the Empress of Time, one where you save her. The Metroidvania structure that lets you revisit areas with new abilities. And the combat. Oh, the combat. Dual-wielding weapons, decapitations. The brutality was excessive, sure, but the free-form fighting system was addictive. The prince had grown up. He'd become harder, more desperate. Looking back, Warrior Within was about something we didn't understand as teenagers. Trauma. The prince was broken, running from death, making darker choices. It was mature storytelling disguised as edge for edge's sake. Jordan Mechner himself said he found it unappealing, too dark, too violent, but millions of us loved it anyway. It sold like crazy. 2005, the trilogy's conclusion, The Two Thrones. This was the game that proved Ubisoft Montreal understood what they had. They'd heard the criticism of Warrior Within's darkness. They'd heard the praise for its mechanics. So they did something genius. They gave us both princes. The regular prince, trying to be better, and the dark prince, his corruption given form, literally wearing his trauma as a supernatural second personality that mocked him, tempted him, dragged him toward violence. "You cannot change your nature," the dark prince whispered. But the game was about proving him wrong, about integration, about accepting your darkness without letting it consume you. The Two Thrones brought back Farah, brought back the Persian aesthetic, brought back the heart, while keeping the edge and the advanced combat. The speed kills, the chariot races through Babylon, the stealth sections in the rafters, the final confrontation with the vizier where everything comes full circle. When the prince finally defeats his dark side and tells Farah the story of their first adventure, the one she doesn't remember, I got chills. We were 14, 16, 18, growing up alongside the prince, learning the same lessons about accepting yourself, about redemption, about becoming a man worthy of the throne. The Sands of Time trilogy sold over 14 million copies combined. It inspired a Hollywood movie. It literally birthed Assassin's Creed. Ubisoft's Golden Child was originally conceived as Prince of Persia: Assassin before becoming its own franchise. This was peak Ubisoft creativity. This was when they took risks, when they trusted their teams, when they believed in art over quarterly earnings. And then they left him. The 2008 cel-shaded reboot with Elika was beautiful but underperformed. The Forgotten Sands in 2010 tried to recapture the Sands trilogy magic, but felt like a corporate obligation timed with the movie release. After that, nothing. 14 years of nothing. The Prince, this character who had defined a generation of gaming, was buried alive, forgotten. While Assassin's Creed got annual releases and became a billion-dollar franchise, its predecessor rotted in the sand. We waited. We begged on forums. We made fan art and video essays and top 10 reasons we need a new Prince of Persia lists. We replayed the trilogy on every platform it got ported to. We remembered. September 2020. Ubisoft forward. We're remaking the Sands of Time. My heart stopped. They showed footage. The prince running along walls, the dagger glowing, Farah's voice. A January 2021 release date. I didn't care that the visuals looked rough in the reveal trailer. I didn't care about the criticism. After 14 years, they were bringing him back. They saw us. They heard us. I should have known better. December 2020. Delayed to March 2021. February 2021. Delayed indefinitely. May 2022. Development moved from Ubisoft Pune and Mumbai to Ubisoft Montreal. Complete reboot of development. 2023. An update. The project has passed an important milestone. Still no footage. June 2024. Confirmation of 2026 release. Just a little more patience. 6 years. 6 years of waiting. 6 years of watching Ubisoft fumble the ball over and over. 6 years of hope slowly curdling into dread. Then came January 2024. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. It wasn't what we expected. Not the prince we knew. Not 3D. Not the Sands timeline. But God, was it good. A 2.5D Metroidvania with a new hero named Sargon. Tight combat. Gorgeous art. Challenging boss fights. A story about time, memory, and sacrifice that honored the spirit of the original games even while charting new territory. The critics loved it. 87 on OpenCritic. We loved it. Players called it the best production of my life, according to the developers. Finally, Prince of Persia was back, and it was incredible. It sold 300,000 copies in its first month. For context, Ubisoft needed millions. They needed Assassin's Creed numbers from a Metroidvania in a dormant franchise they'd abandoned for 14 years. By October 2024, the team was disbanded. No sequel, no expansions. Developers scattered to Beyond Good and Evil 2 and other projects. The people who'd poured their hearts into reviving the Prince were told their work didn't meet sales expectations. One developer said it was the best production of my life. Ubisoft killed it anyway. Which brings us back to today, to that notification, to the death of the dream. 6 games canceled, studios closed, the Sands of Time Remake, the project we waited 6 years for, executed alongside 5 other titles in Ubisoft's portfolio reset. The official statement is sterile, professional. We weren't able to reach the level of quality you deserve. They hide behind platitudes about not wanting to release something that fell short of what the Sands of Time represents. You know what falls short of what the Sands of Time represents? Giving up. abandoning your artists, treating a beloved franchise like a line item on a spreadsheet, announcing a remake, collecting pre-orders, making promises, and then canceling it 6 years later because you can't manage a development process to save your life. The Sands of Time sold 14 million copies. It won countless awards. It's recognized as one of the greatest games ever made, and you couldn't even finish remaking it. Here's what hurts the most. It's not just nostalgia. It's not just anger at Ubisoft's incompetence. It's the realization that the Prince of Persia represented a different philosophy of game design, one that valued elegance over excess, parkour over shootouts, poetry over brutality, player intelligence over hand-holding. The Sands trilogy taught me that games could be art, that they could make me feel something beyond adrenaline, that failure could be woven into the narrative, that a protagonist could grow, change, earn redemption. The Prince ran on walls because it was beautiful, not because a metrics team determined it would increase engagement by 15%. He fell in love because the story needed it, not because romance options tested well with focus groups. He rewound time because it was thematically rich and mechanically interesting, not because it could be monetized with time rewind microtransactions. That Prince, that philosophy, is dead. Ubisoft killed him. Not with one decision, but with 1,000 small betrayals. The abandonment after 2010, the 14 years of silence, the botched remake announcement, the development hell, the disbanding of the Lost Crown team, and finally, this, the cancellation that says what we always feared was true. They don't care. They never cared. We were mourning a friend while they were calculating profit margins. Where do we go from here? Ubisoft says this decision does not mean we're stepping away from the franchise. They're lying. Or worse, they believe it. One of their creative houses is supposed to focus on immersive fantasy worlds and narrative-driven titles, including Prince of Persia, Anno, Rayman, and Beyond Good and Evil. You know what all of those franchises have in common? They're all effectively dead. Rayman's last real game was Legends in 2013. Beyond Good and Evil 2 has been in development hell since 2008. Anno is niche at best. Prince of Persia isn't their priority. It's window dressing. A legacy brand they can point to and say, see, we value creativity, while they pump out Assassin's Creed and Far Cry clones until the servers melt. And here's the uncomfortable truth. We helped kill him. When The Lost Crown released, a genuinely excellent game made with passion by people who cared, how many of us bought it day one? How many waited for a sale? How many skipped it because it's not the real Prince of Persia? When The Forgotten Sands came out in 2010, did we show up? When the 2008 reboot with Elika took a risk with cel-shaded art and a new direction, did we support it? Or did we complain it wasn't the Sands trilogy? We say we want creativity. We say we want studios to take risks, but then we don't put our money where our nostalgia is. We wait for sales. We demand the exact specific version of our memories. We punish innovation while complaining about stagnation. Maybe we're the reason the Prince is dead too. Goodbye, old friend. That 14-year-old kid who fell in love with running on walls and rewinding time is still in here somewhere, watching his hero get buried in corporate sand. The dagger of time can't rewind this. The Prince won't narrate his way out of this death. There's no last-minute save, no golden ending. Just a franchise that deserved better, made by people who cared, killed by executives who didn't. So here's my eulogy. Thank you, Prince. Thank you for teaching me that games could be more than just games. Thank you for the acrobatics and the romance and the redemption arc. Thank you for the late nights and the memories and the lessons about growing up. You ran on walls when everyone else stayed on the ground. You rewound mistakes when everyone else lived with them. You found redemption when everyone else stayed broken. You deserved better. We all deserved better. Rest in peace, Prince of Persia. Lost to time. Again. What do you think? Is there any hope left for the Prince? Or should we let the Sands claim him? Let me know in the comments below. If you felt this one, you're not alone. Hit like if this franchise meant something to you. Subscribe for more deep dives into gaming's lost legends. And maybe, just maybe, Ubisoft will see how many of us still care. Thanks for watching.